Hi guys, I don't know if YouTube is going to send out notifications or not, but I thought that I would come on to the YouTubes and answer self-publishing questions because I haven't posted a Q&A Monday in what's been a very hot minute. So I thought that we could spend about an hour. You can ask questions in the chat. If no one shows up, I will literally open up my spreadsheet and start answering questions that were submitted by people because there's a lot on there. I recorded some videos for Q&A Monday. Oh man, it's been a hot minute. And I just haven't edited them yet. So yeah, someone asked recently if I was still doing them, and I am. I just haven't had time to record and edit. But yeah, let me know if you're here, if you can see me, if it's live, if YouTube sent you the notification. Katrina, yay! I'm so glad you're here. My tire in my car is like losing air, and I had to go drop my car off, and they called me and said, I need a new tire. Apparently, I got a flat or a nail in the sidewall, but anyway. What do you find to be the best time range for pre-orders, like 90 days versus a month versus 2 weeks? I would say a year. We set up our pre-orders a year in advance because it gives you a greater opportunity to share those links for 365 days, essentially. So I think as soon as you can set up pre-order, then to set it up, but to make sure that you are going to make your deadlines, because if you set up a pre-order and then you don't write the books, you will lose your ability to set it up on Amazon for a year. So yeah, as soon as possible. Yay, awesome, Deep Sky Dude. Yeah, you didn't get notified, of course. I imagine there won't be a lot of people in here because when I don't schedule, YouTube doesn't send out the notifications, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm here for you guys. Feel free to ask any self-publishing questions. I know that when we live stream and do writing sprints, people typically have questions, and it's hard for me to kind of go into detail on those things. So I'm here for you guys to talk about self-publishing. And yeah, I need to set up my pre-order game now that I'm wide. I already have one, but I want to get my December release up. So that's awesome. Yeah, the good thing about setting up pre-order on the wide platforms is if you need to change your date, they're not going to slap your hand. The only one who's really going to make a big deal about it is Amazon. You can move them up, you can move them back. It doesn't matter on Apple, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, and Google Play. They do not care. The only thing with some of them is if, say today is July 11th and you have a book that you're going to release on July 12th of 2023, you can't set it up on Barnes & Noble until it's exactly a year. But on the other sites, they'll let you set it up. It just won't go live until it's 365 days later. Hi, yay, hi, hello. Hello. Monica, beta readers. So the way that I found beta readers was I just asked, I put out a call. I was like, hi, I'm looking for beta readers. I write this genre. I need people who can read this book in this amount of time. If you're interested in being one of my beta readers and you're not afraid of giving honest feedback, then please, fill out this Google form and I'll be in touch with you. And that's literally how I always found mine. You can get paid beta readers on Goodreads, and basically Goodreads is the only place that I've really found them. But you can pay someone $50 to $75 to read your book. There are people who do it for all different genres. And then there's like a monetary exchange. So they're required to, give you that honest feedback that you're looking for. I found that beta readers, if they're your friends, they will walk on eggshells, even if they're like, I promise I'll be truthful. And so you need someone who's not going to basically give you just tons of compliments. You need like real critiques from people. So I always say the paid beta readers are good because it's a monetary exchange at that point. It's not like, hey, just do me this favor and give me your thoughts. Would you recommend that I start writing short stories before tackling a whole book? Paris, it's whatever you want. I think that there are advantages to writing short stories. You learn how to basically build a story from beginning to end, and it's very easy for people to read it because it's short form, so you can kind of get immediate feedback if there's something that you're struggling with. I started writing like a whole book. I wrote for NaNoWriMo. I tell this story a lot, and I wrote 50,000 words in November of 2011. Is that when it was? I think it was 2011. And it was that book sucked. I'm just going to be honest, but I learned a lot about myself, and I learned that I could actually finish. It can be overwhelming to write a whole book, but I think that through that process, you learn a lot about yourself. And I don't really have an opinion on that. I think that you should write what you want to write, and that's where you should start. If it's short stories or a whole book, there are lessons to be learned in both forms of writing. What is this live? This is a Q&A Monday. What? I'm here answering your questions on Monday. I was like, I haven't posted a video in forever. Let's chat. Let's talk. You know. Let's see. If you could spend money as a newbie on one, would you spend it on edits or cover? I would probably spend it on edits and go the budget route with the cover, because I feel like if you have an amazing cover and people buy your book based on your cover and then they open it up and it's not edited, the outside doesn't match the inside, and they could potentially just write you off forever. Because I have friends who are like, oh well, I always, this was back in the day, like this doesn't happen anymore, but back in like 2014 2015, I had friends who would be like, oh, I self-edited, it's good to go. I feel like when you write it yourself, you're very, very close to your words, and it's hard to self-edit and actually catch everything. And I think that a real life person editor is not really replaceable. There are people who are like, oh, I just throw it in Grammarly. Like, Grammarly doesn't catch everything. Pro Writing Aid doesn't catch everything. So if I would spend the bulk of my money on edits and then go to Fiverr or find a pre-made sell group on Facebook and buy like a $50 cover, because you can get some amazing pre-mades. I'm not even kidding. When should I design my author website? I'm starting out with self-publishing, so I don't have an audience yet. Right now, Paris, I would say now is the time. Get all that stuff set up. When we before we published our first book as Kennedy Fox, we had all of our socials, all of our platforms, all of our branding. Our website was all completely built. So when we launched, we weren't trying to do all this other stuff. We launched ready to go. As Lyra Parish, when I first started releasing, I had my website, my Facebook, my Twitter, all of that in 2013. I think I created Facebook in like August or July of 2013, and I didn't publish until January. So I would say the time is now. The time is now. You might not have a lot of content to put on there, which is okay. You can just, have an about page where you've got your biography and the genres that you're writing in. You can do upcoming books and have just like a cover placeholder there with maybe like a title, cover coming soon, where you have maybe your blurb or like a short description of what you're planning on writing, and then get your newsletter set up right now. Yes, this is live. Yes, it's live. How long should I advertise my book before making it available for purchase? I would say is it the first book in a series? Is it like a standalone? Is it like, it depends on where the book falls. Like if it's, for example, book 6 in a 8-book series, you would probably want to focus on that first book more than book 6 with your advertising. If it's like the first book that you've ever released, I would start marketing the book yourself, like on social media and TikTok. And then I would start testing ads maybe like a month before release with pre-order links to like test different ad copies. So then when your book goes live, you know which one to pump more money into. Paris, I'm a beta reader on Fiverr. Yes. See, like, this is what I'm saying. They have beta readers on Fiverr too. Fiverr, man, some of y'all are going to let the services on there sleep on y'all. I wouldn't recommend hiring editors on Fiverr just because, I don't know, like, I get iffy about that because I don't know. I'm weird about that. But like cover designers, I know people who have gotten book covers for like $20 and they were great. Beta readers, there's critique partners, there are formatters, there's like all sorts of people on Fiverr that you can hire to help you out. When you set up pre-orders, can you still submit to Netgalley for pre-publication reviews? Yes, you should be able to do that. TridePub does it. I don't think Netgalley is that great for indies though. I will say that. I think that that Netgalley, I used it back in the day. I didn't find that it really helped at all. It's, you can get a co-op for like $60 and put your book on there for like a month, but it's hard to find people who, I don't know. I just have some opinions about Netgalley. Yes, I will keep it up for sure. Yes. Good morning, Desiree. But I have a strong desire to write a book and publish them. What kind of advice will you give on managing both studying and writing books? I had already graduated college when I decided to write, but I did work full time. And I would say to, of course, put your schoolwork first because, you know, especially with engineering, like you want good grades so you can get a good internship, a good job. If that's going to be your field, your career. I would say school comes first and then fit writing in wherever you can. Take advantage of using your phone and using the Notepad app to write down ideas and write little stories on your phone. Like I've got so much, like the first thing that I ever wrote for Week for Him, which was the first book I ever published, it was written in my phone. Like I was listening to an NPR story on the way to work. I literally like got to work and or maybe I was coming home. I was coming from or to work. I don't remember exactly. But as soon as I parked, I remember just writing this part down and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be such a good book. Use the weekends to your advantage. I wrote a lot on the weekends and I did whatever I could to make sure that I could juggle all of it. And if that meant me getting less sleep, then that's what I did. Wouldn't recommend it, but the weekends are going to be your best friend. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You did not have to do that, but I really appreciate it. You're so sweet. Thank you. Yay. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Hi. Hello. I have a new idea that is far outside of my usual brand, and Dreamy wants me to give them exclusive rights, but I think it would do well actually published. Would you save your idea and just publish? Okay, so is Dreamy giving you a advance? Are they paying you for this exclusive content beforehand? Also, if it's outside of your usual brand, wouldn't it be good to test it on a platform where people are not going to know that this is outside of your brand? Another thing is, how long is it exclusive for? Is it exclusive forever, eternity? Is it exclusive for a year, 2 years? I think that you could potentially keep it exclusive if it's not forever or like 7 years. If it's just like a year or 2, I would build a brand on these apps with this type of story, and then when your exclusivity basically dies out or ends or whatever, when that clause in your contract ends, I would pull it and publish it with updates. But that's just me. It's hard to say, oh, you should just publish it, because if you don't have a warmed up audience for that type of story and it's outside of your usual, it might be a hard sell. And if you're going to create like a new pen name to write something that's outside of your usual brand, it's going to take some time to get started. If you can get funds right now and they're going to pay you and they're going to, give you some sort of advance, then I would take that money. Just my thoughts. Whoops, it clicked up there. I'm working on simplifying links for socials and all that. What do you prefer, Genius Links or books to read? We use Genius Links. I prefer Genius Links. I know that it's a paid service, but it's pretty cheap. It depends on how many clicks you get. And Genius Links also takes in your affiliates. I don't know if Books to Read does. Isn't that the draft to digital version of it? But I would say if I chose between the two, it'd be Genius Links. Genius Links. How much does it how much does it cost to create an audiobook? Is it better to release simultaneously with the ebook and paperback, or should I wait if this is my first book? So, audiobooks. If you are paying a narrator who is well known and they are SAG, which is the Actors Guild, they have a specific rate that they have to get paid. And I think SAG rates are $500 per finished hour to like $1,000 and up. But these are professional actors. They're not just like some dude who has a microphone or woman who has a microphone and they're like in their closet recording. These are people who are professionals. So it depends on how long your book is. I like to say that if a book is 50,000 words, it's going to be between 5 and 6 per finished hours. I figured out every 10,000 words is about 1 per finished hour. And that's an hour edited, like completely how you wrote it. So if you have a 100,000 word book, that's like 10 to 11 per finished hours. And if you're paying $500 an hour, then, that adds up. So $500 times 10 is $5,000. You have a 50,000 word book, that's 5 to 6 per finished hours times 500, that's like $2,500. So it really depends on the length. It depends on the narrator. And I think it is better to release them together, but like the audiobook, paperback, and ebook, but it's kind of not realistic unless you're ahead of schedule. We haven't ever released our audiobooks with our ebook and paperbacks because we write pretty much, we are working up to deadline and going through edits and all of that. And then once we get our final copy back from our editor, then we send that to the narrators. And it's usually like right up to the release date. So it hasn't really hurt us that much. I think we would sell more if we could publish it all together and people could see that option from the beginning. But our readers who are audiobook listeners will wait because they know they're always coming. Any advice for multiple streams of income when trying to transition to becoming a full-time indie author? I'm probably not the best person to answer this question because all I did when I was trying to become full-time was I wrote and published books, and then, I worked at my corporate job. I didn't have, like, other things going on in the literary world to help, boost revenue. I would say that, having a shop on your website is super beneficial because you can sell your books and make more money from your readers that way, because you get to keep more, when you sell them online on Amazon, if y'all are not aware and you're a new author and haven't published yet. Like, if you sell a book for $15, like, I think you're only going to get like $4 on that book. Like, you don't earn a whole lot. I've seen authors who have created Patreons who have, done exclusive stories, which have been extremely profitable and popular recently. I've seen authors start Etsy shops where they create different types of like literary things for readers, bookmarks. There's this one author who creates like really cool like t-shirts and stickers and stuff like that. Actually, there's a lot of authors who do that. And so there are different options. YouTube doesn't really pay me anything. I think that time is better spent elsewhere, but I like being here. And if you have a large following, but not really subscribers, but if you have people who watch your videos, you can make 200 to, I'm sure some of these author tubers are making thousands of dollars per month on their videos. I don't make a lot. I make like $100 to like $200 on YouTube, depending on how hard I push. So there's different ways out there to do it. I've seen some authors who offer beta reading services because they're very good at story, and they can read pretty fast. And so they'll, do beta reading too. There's a million different things, I think. This was a debate in a group I'm in. Do you need an ISBN to set up pre-orders? You do not. That's not true. You don't need one on any of the sites. It's good to have one. If you set up your pre-order and you decide later on down the road that you want to have an ISBN on it, it's going to be difficult to do that. And I'm talking about ebooks. Like, I'm not talking about like setting up a pre-order for like paperbacks on Ingram. That's a little different. You would need an ISBN for that. Or they'll give you one, but you want to have your own ISBNs. I think the best practice is to have an ISBN. So then when you release your book and you're trying to make a list like USA Today, they don't have to guess if it's the same version across all the sites. Those distributors, platforms, whatever, publishing platforms, they will submit the sales based on your ISBN. So they won't get lost somewhere, because that has happened. I think it's good practice. It's not, you absolutely have to have an ISBN. You don't have to have one on Amazon. I know you don't have to have one on Apple, because I set up our pre-orders there. And if I forget to put the ISBN in and I submit it, like, it's pretty much done. Same for Barnes & Noble. And Google Play will assign you one too, and Kobo will as well. You don't need it. But I would suggest getting it. Yeah, I didn't either. It was just kind of like, let's do this. Any advice on titling a series well? I would check your genre, and I would just go and do a lot of research on your genre and see what's selling right now and see what people are doing. But not copying them. Like, I'm never suggesting anyone to copy anybody. I would also check to see if your series name that you are thinking about is already taken, and if it is, I would probably choose something different, because when readers search your series names or titles, you want to come up pretty high in search. And if there's a lot of titles the same, it's going to be very hard to compete, especially if there's like a larger author with the same title you want, like Stephen King or Colleen Hoover, or people who are just killing it in their genre. So I would just do a lot of research. Look at your subgenre and other books that are like selling well and see how they're doing it. Like, for example, small town romance. Sometimes people will use their fake town name and make that their series. Or you'll see a lot of like creeks or rivers or mountains, not ponds, but like different town or objects that are named. But yeah, I think with research, you will find exactly what you're looking for. Any advice? Hold on, wait. Sorry. I was replying to Brooke. She probably doesn't know I'm live right now. Any advice on how to get reviews for your debut novel? There are places like Booksprout. Is that the name of that place? Hold on. Yeah. So there are some paid places that are like Booksprout, and I think that's a great place for newbies to start, because there are readers there who want to review books, and it is a paid service. I don't know how much it is. I should have just looked when I was there. It used to be like $10 or $15. I thought I saw something somewhere where someone said they raised their prices, but I don't know what it is right now. But I think it's a good place to start. Because there are readers that are warmed up there. You can also create a Google form and, post it on your socials and be like, "Hi, I'm searching for advanced reviewers who would like to get my book before it's released in exchange for their honest review. If you're interested, here's the book. Here's the blurb, here's the summary, whatever." And then post a link where people can sign up. That's another way. You can also go on Instagram and look at Bookstagrammers profiles and see if they are like taking, like, if you can send them a message and ask them if they would like a copy of your book. I wouldn't just spam a bunch of people because they can see right through that. I would try to be a human and be like, "Hey, I noticed that you read this book, and this book. It's very similar to what I write. I'm a new author and I'm searching for readers who love this genre who would be willing to give me a chance." And usually when you come at them like that, they're like, "I would love to. Yes, please." And then you can send them your Google form and they can fill it out and go that route. In the beginning, it's a lot of pounding the pavement. How do we come up with our series titles? With your titles for your books in your series? The same way we plot. We're like, "What about this title? What about this title? How many books is going to be in here? Do we want the titles to match? How do we want them to match? If we did this matchy match way, what could we name the other books?" And usually we have pretty much all the titles for all the books before they release. So then we're not trying to guess what the next book will be. We do like a matchy match title. That's why with the Circle B Ranch series, you see Hitching the Cowboy, Catching the Cowboy, Wrangling the Cowboy, Bossing the Cowboy, Kissing the Cowboy. I could go on and on. But yeah, we just kind of pick titles that make sense with the story and the trope, along with our genre and subgenre. And we go that route. We don't always get it right. We don't always get it right. There are times when we have messed up titles. For example, my week with the bad boy, and then it became Falling for the Bad Boy. That didn't work. And then it became Make Me Forget, which is more contemporary romance, which is what that book is. So we don't always get it right. And when we realize that we've gotten it wrong, we're not afraid to change it. So just know that it's changeable. It's going to be okay. What are your thoughts on rapid releasing books like one a month or every couple of months? It is a lot of hard work. It's how most new authors get burned out. I would say if you are a fast writer and you can write to market, rapid releasing will be your best friend because you can hop on current trends very quickly and get out there and build a core audience by trend chasing. But it's exhausting, and I don't think that it's something that someone could stay consistent with forever. I would rather see authors release a book every 3 months consistently than to rapid release for 2 years and then drop off the planet, because that's what I feel like happens a lot. It's great though. You can make great money. You can make great money, especially if you can write to market. Any tips for blurb writing? I feel like it's 100 times easier for me to write an 80K novel than it is a 200-word blurb. Blurbs are one of those things that, like, I almost hate it as much as editing hell. Sorry, someone's calling me. I don't know who that is. It's a local number, though. I think when it comes to blurb writing, it's best if you don't give away the entire story. I think if you think of your blurb as the main hook, that is like, you don't have to give every detail. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't have to give every detail in a blurb. It just needs to be hooky, and it needs to really pull someone in, so you kind of leave them on a cliffhanger as to what's going to happen. I have read blurbs that are like 500 words, and like at the end of it, I'm like, I don't even need to read this book. I know exactly what happens to these characters. Like, you've given it all to me. And I don't think that's needed. It's not supposed to be a summary. It's supposed to be a hook and a way to draw readers in to go ahead and buy it, where they have some idea of what's going on. I like to keep our blurbs around the same length for the entire series, which is probably one of our biggest annoyances, because I'm like, but this blurb's 150 words and this one's like 330 words. But we have done a lot of blurb reworks recently, like as recent as yesterday, we were working on blurbs. And this blurb has changed probably 4 times, and it's probably going to get changed again, because if your blurb is not great, some readers go to that before they look at the cover. You know what I mean? They judge a book by the blurb. But yeah, I don't know if I have any like super fine, like, you need to do this, this, and this. The beginning line, the very beginning first sentence, needs to be so hooky that the reader should not even need to continue to read it, in my opinion. If they're not hooked by like the very first little thing, then trash the whole thing. Because on Amazon, when readers are searching, they give you this much, and the rest of the blurb is hidden. So think about the very first thing that you're going to say and let that be so powerful that the rest of the blurb is just kind of like, they could stop right here and it would just make them buy it. For a new author, would you recommend rapid release a new series, or would you recommend getting a few books out first before rapid releasing? So are you talking about build your backlist before you rapid release? I don't think it really matters. I don't think it really matters. I think that if you are rapid releasing, it depends on how many books too. How many rapid releasing? How long is this series? I need some more info. It's good to have a backlist always, especially if you're rapid releasing, because if you're rapid releasing, people are going to read it very quickly and then they're going to want something else from you. So if you can build your backlist before you rapid release a series, I would personally do that, because when they finish it, they'll have other things to buy from you if you convert them into a super fan. But, you know, if you're new and you're like, hey, I've got this series written, but I would rather have a small following before I write this series, I would probably just go ahead and release the series and rapid release it. Because if it's written and it's done, then like build your audience with that. With TikTok, I have seen people who have released like 6 books ever, and then they just got on TikTok and started talking about their books in a very natural type way, not trying to like push it really hard. I mean, it was very creative how they explained it. And I know that this person made more money in a month than Kennedy Fox ever has based on where she charted. And she didn't have a huge following before that book. It was all because of TikTok. So, yeah, with rapid releasing though, especially if you're just pushing it, be pretty good. Just know that when you are writing a series and you're rapid releasing, you won't see the full read through of it until all of them are released, because there are readers who see that it's a rapid release and they'll wait until the entire series is done so they can binge it. So don't forget about your binge readers. Oh, thank you. Yes. I'm so happy to. $50 in 70 years. They want exclusivity for life. No, I wouldn't give it to them. They pay authors like crap. I wouldn't give it to them. They have offered exclusive stories to some authors for thousands of dollars. For $50, I would pass on that one. I would give them something else, especially if you think it's going to do really well. Yeah. Oh my god. You said the K word. I know everybody that watches my channel is like, I know what she's going to say already. Okay. When it comes to Kindle Unlimited, I think it's a great place for newbies to start and build a backlist, because when you first start publishing, it's extremely overwhelming. You could watch every video out there, you could take every course, you could prepare yourself for every possible scenario when you self-publish your first book. But I promise you there will be something where you're like, what do I need to do right now? I think with Kindle Unlimited as a newbie, it's good because you just have to worry about one place, uploading here, making sure your links are to Amazon, and it gives you the opportunity to build your backlist. Excuse me. So when you have a backlist, which is basically, you know, books that are over a year old, like when you've got several things for people to read through, then I would consider moving from Kindle Unlimited to going to all platforms, because when you go wide, it's more of a marathon and not a race. Also in Kindle Unlimited, I feel like you need to release more often to stay in the algorithm. So it depends on how fast you plan on releasing. I was one of the people who just was wide on all platforms. Kennedy Fox at the beginning was wide on all platforms. When I first started writing, KU wasn't a thing. When Kennedy Fox first published, KU was a thing. And we started off wide. And it was very beneficial for us. That's how we made USA Today like 3 months after we published our first book. If you are in it for the long haul and you're okay with dealing with multiple platforms, like it doesn't overwhelm you, I would say from the beginning to start wide. But if you want to learn the ropes first before going on all the platforms and really understand what it is to just like publish a book and how the process works, then Kindle Unlimited would be the easier route. I'm not a proponent for KU. I know there's a lot of authors on AuthorTube who love it. I hate it. It works for some of my friends. It's paid people great money. I just think that it's a toxic environment. It can create really bad habits in writing. And Amazon doesn't care about authors. They're more concerned about the reader experience. And there's just too many glitches on their platform. I don't like putting all of my eggs in one basket. I don't like when Amazon glitches out and doesn't take responsibility. I don't like that they let people return books after 7 days or within 7 days in the US and 14 days in the UK. There's a big problem with returns right now. People are using Amazon like a library, and I would rather newbies start wide and learn the hardships from the beginning. So then after you're in like book 2 or 3, you're like, oh, that's not a big deal. I've already like worked through all the growing pains of that. But I understand it takes a lot. It's just kind of what you want to do. Do you want to deal with page reads? Do you want to get paid 0.004 cents per page? Do you want to deal with glitches? The quicker you can, or the quicker you can build your backlist on wide platforms, the better, but you can charge higher prices. Like, people are not as price conscious, on the wide platforms as compared to Amazon. And yeah, I think there's a lot of promotional opportunities on the wide websites that Amazon just doesn't offer people. But yeah, KU's not, Okay. Joanna says, I'm a self-published author without money to do ads, and lately marketing has gone dry. So what current marketing strategies are good for getting sales when you're on a tight budget? TikTok, period. Point blank, period. TikTok. It's not follower based on TikTok. You never know when you're going to get pushed onto the algorithm or on the FYP. I would make a lot of TikToks. If I had no money for advertising, I would spend time instead of money, and that time would be spent doing nothing but book talks for my books. I've seen my friends' books their books are old, like 2015, circa 2015, when we were all little baby authors, like make thousands and thousands of dollars in a month because of one TikTok. Page flips, a page flip TikTok. Really, I'm not kidding. It can change your life. And I'm not talking about views like, oh, you need to go viral and get 1 million views. I had a video for our books get like, I don't know, 50,000 views. I mean, and in the grand scheme of TikTok, that's not a whole lot, let's be honest. But it did sell books. I saw the results. I saw the data. It sold like 100 copies plus of a book over a week, and there was no other promo going on for that book. So I know that it was direct from our TikTok. Brooke has had some that have gone viral, like hundreds of thousands of views. I'm not cute enough, I guess, on TikTok. And we've made thousands upon thousands of dollars because of that. And that's just like, getting on the app and doing a little page flip or whatever. You can go to my TikTok at Lyra Parish, and you can see the type of stuff that I post. It's not a secret, but you can now see on TikTok when people are like flagging your book. So like, you see this little flag right here by my pinky. That's 339 people who flagged this book. And I could see the rank drop, and I could see people buying it on all platforms from TikTok. So if you're not there, don't sleep on it. Don't let this opportunity pass you by, because it's getting harder as we speak. Last year, it was easy for people to go viral. This year, it's harder. Next year, it's going to be even harder, and so on and so on. So I don't think that you have to spend any money on ads. If you can just make a TikTok every day about your books, it's changed people's lives. I've seen it happen. I've seen people quit their jobs because of TikTok. I've seen people retire their husbands because of TikTok. I've seen people get publishing deals because of TikTok. I've also seen them make USA Today, Wall Street Journal because of TikTok. I've also seen movie deals because of TikTok. And these people didn't have a lot of followers. You don't need it. I've seen people with 89 followers have a video with like 150,000 about their book. 150,000 views. Their book ranked top 100 on Amazon because of one TikTok. So, yeah. KU would probably be best for a new author. Then once you gather a following, try going wide. Yeah. How fast is enough for rapid release, or does it just depend on the author's writing speed? I think rapid release is like a book per month. I've seen authors rapid release a book every other week. I've seen some authors rapid release a novella every week. I've seen some authors release 2 novellas every week. I don't know if they were really writing those. I mean, that's a lot, but hey, if you can bust out 15K like nothing, that's a novella, right? But I think when you're rapid releasing, it's having a book per month release on Amazon. And you still have to push ads. You still have to do stuff to get people to see it. Rapid releasing is not enough. I have friends who've been like, oh, well, you know, I rapid released this contemporary romance and it didn't get any sales. And I'm like, are you advertising? Are you telling people about it? Like, what are you doing to push it out there? Rapid releasing is not enough. So if people are like, oh, all you need to do is rapid release and write to trends, not enough. You're still going to have to do marketing behind it, especially if you're new. I don't know. I do not know of a company. There's got to be a company out there. I don't know of any company that does that though. That would be a very cool thing to have though. I would probably Google and go ask in some groups. I'm sure somebody has had their book put into Braille. That would be really neat. I would love to have a copy of our book like that. Have earned up to 11,000 in a month with their YouTube. Oh yeah. Yep. I have heard the same. I don't make that. If I was making thousands of dollars per month on YouTube, you guys would see me so much that you would be like, ugh, another video from her. Yeah. Valerie, I have these to send out. Oh, oops, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't just show somebody's address. I think I did. I'll have to go back and cut that. I'm sending all of these out today. I have lost the June stickers. I've done that before. And so I'm going to have to reorder them. And so all of the ones from May and behind will be sent, but June will not be sent yet. So I'll send June and July probably in August. Yeah. I think be on the ones that you want to be on. You know, I don't think that any of them are a requirement, but I would be present on the one that you actually like to be on. And also, I would go ahead and get your @s on all of them, just in case you decide one day, oh, I want to tweet something, or oh, I want to post on Instagram, or oh, I want to make this TikTok, or whatever. I think you should have accounts, maybe update them when you release, find the one that you really like, and just be pretty hardcore there. I go through changes. I go through shifts. Like I used to love Facebook and then I hated it. And then I loved Instagram so much. And then it got annoying. And then, you know, Twitter was my OG fave First it was Twitter, and then I moved from Twitter to Facebook, and I was like, Facebook's amazing, and then it sucked, and then Instagram became a thing, and I was like, oh my God, Instagram's amazing. So I had that, and I used it a lot, and then TikTok was created, and I was there a little bit, but I've always hated TikTok. I forced myself to be there because it sells books. But yeah, I would get all of them. I don't think they are. I think Fiverr promos are just a waste of time. I know back in the day they used to be like, I'll post your book in 50 book groups. I'll send it in my newsletter. I'll tweet it to my 500,000 followers. No, that's a waste of money. I wouldn't pay for that. I'm a teacher and I write romance. Where would I find an illustrator for an author picture and branding tag, as I really do need to use a pen name? There are illustrators on Fiverr. There are illustrators on Upwork. There are also illustrators and cover designers who do branding for authors. Like, that's one of their packages. And so I would say to look for a cover designer that maybe offers branding, because then they can have all of your stuff kind of like matched together with the genre that you are planning to write, which you said romance. So that's a pretty easy one to brand out. As for rapid release, is it best to write all the books of the series first and publish, or just write and publish them? Oh, I would be ahead of schedule. I think writing from release to release is how you will burn yourself out. If you are planning to rapid release and you haven't released a book yet and like you're building your brand, I would write all the books, have them ready, have them edited, and then just rapid release them as you're writing your next series. If you are already an author with books out there, I would get at least 2 books ahead, because then if something happens, you get sick, you have a family death, your dog passes away or gets run over by a car. I mean, there's just a gazillion scenarios that could happen. If they have happened to anyone, it's happened to me in the last 2 years. You have to be prepared for things that you have no idea that's going to happen. So the more ahead you can get, the better. I would not recommend people writing deadline to deadline. Me and Brooke do it, but we've been doing this for almost a decade. Between us, almost 2 decades. So, and we both we do well with pressure, and we write well under pressure. But that's not for everybody. My ADHD makes me have to need urgency to do stuff. But it's still stressful. Yes, please like the like button. Please hit the like button. Like the like button. Make friends with the like button. Why do people say that stories for Kindle don't have to be as well edited as stories published elsewhere? It's because it is typically being written on the go. And people, I think, understand that it's not a finished work, that it's being written as they're literally reading it. So they aren't as picky as, something that they're paying $6 for up front or $5 for up front. They know that the universe isn't finished. So I think that they're not as like, there's a typo. I would say that if you are publishing on Kindle Vella, at least put it through Grammarly, guys. Like, don't embarrass yourself, because if you have a lot of typos and stuff, readers will start being like, yeah, they're sloppy. They don't even care. Their quality, like, 5 typos in like 2,000 words. Come on, but I think that's why. I'd love to hear more insight about publishing with Ingram Spark. I've heard some horror stories, but I know they have the best wide distribution. They do have the best wide distribution. Ingram Spark, their dashboard is not the most user-friendly, but it's manageable compared to the other sites that you upload to. I would say that the sorry, my Southern accent makes that sound terrible. The horror stories that you've probably heard are with returns. And I know that there have been people who've been like, I've got charged a gazillion dollars with returns. You do not have to have returns activated. You can turn it off if that's one of your biggest concerns, and you can still be distributed to all the sites. It's just if you went into your local Barnes and Noble and were like, "Hey, can you please order my book and put it on the shelves?" They're going to tell you no because you don't have returns activated. We have not had a return horror story, but we do get returns sometimes. But yeah, I think that Ingram Spark is great. They do have a wider distribution than Amazon. It's not considered a POD, paid on demand service. And they're I've found them to be helpful. I know that other people have been like, "Oh, Ingram sucks." And I'm like, really? I've not really had, too many issues with them. We put our books on Ingram and we also put them on Amazon. I can tell you that Ingram takes more care when it comes to shipping. They're not just throwing 4 books in a big A box and shipping it to you with no padding. Like, Ingram actually takes care in that. So with Amazon, I know that Brooke got a lot of damaged books, and she would constantly have to be like, "Hey, these 14 books are damaged because y'all didn't package them well." But with Ingram, that's not an issue. Their quality is very good, and they have different types of papers and covers like matte, and I prefer their quality over Amazon, like, any day of the week. But yeah, it's probably about the return thing, but you can turn it off. How do y'all decide on a fake town or fake places? So usually when it's in Texas, because like 4th or 5th generation Texan here, then it's a place that, like, we know. Like, I pretty much know a lot about all parts of Texas. So it's like, okay, if it's Texas, we can put it in a real town. I've been there. I've researched it. I could drive there right now. If it's somewhere that's on the East Coast, I don't know anything about that. And Brooke lives in Wisconsin, so she's like Midwest. And so usually we'll be like, "Oh, we want to place this in Alabama or wherever, but we don't know anything about it." Fake town. Then you can create whatever it is that you want. We've used California a lot because it's kind of like mid-range. There's not like an accent that you have to worry about, like Southern or Midwestern or, Northern or whatever. But yeah, if it's in a state where we don't know anything about it, it's a fake town. If it's in a location that we are very comfortable with writing about, we'll just use a real place. Hey, Courtney. Okay. Is there money publishing webcomics? Actually, I just read an article earlier today, and it says that, hold on. It said something about comics have increased like insane over the last year. Hold on, wait. I'll read it to you real quick. I get a lot of my publishing news from this newsletter, and it's called The Hot Sheet. I've been subscribed to it for years and years and years. It's so good. It keeps me up to date with everything that's going on. Okay, so here you go. Here's a chart right here. This is the comic sales across time. And you can see in 2012, it was 108.5 million. In 2021, it boosted to $2.07 billion. So I think that graphic novels and comics are really, like, it's going to be a trend. In this article, it says it's a good time to be writing comics and graphic novels. Sales in the category increased 62% in 2021 in the US and Canada. Graphic novel sales were driven in particular by manga as well as by book sales through bookstores and book fairs, but sales through comic stores were up as well. So they're saying that the market is rebounding for comics. So yeah, I think that a webcomic could probably do really well. So you don't have to show your face. That's what I would say. You do not have to show your face on TikTok. You can do book flips. You can do videos where it's just like, I don't know. I've seen someone film their lamp in their living room and put book text over it. I'm not even kidding. I've seen a ceiling fan spinning around and people putting book text over it. So you do not have to show your face. It's not a requirement. There are ways around it where you can still put yourself out there and, you know, be present. It depends on what your personal goals are. What do you want to accomplish? Do you want to eventually be trad? Do you eventually want to be hybrid? Are you trying to go all in with indie? What do you need a literary agent for? If you sell a buku of books, I promise you they will come knocking on your door, not the other way around. Especially if you go viral or you have a book that's just killing the charts, you will have so many people contacting you, you will be completely overwhelmed. So if that's the concern, I would just wait. We have a subrights agent, and yes, she's great, but there's a lot of things that we could just do ourselves. And now that we are in the part of our career where we have the knowledge and the ability to do some of these things like translations, audiobooks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you don't really need a subrights management agent, or a literary agent. Yeah. Yep. I think in an article that NPR released a couple of weeks ago, there was a romance author that said that her returns were larger in the last 2 months than they had been the 8 months prior. And it's because of viral TikToks where people are like, stop buying books, just return them. So stupid. And what really sucks about it is Amazon charges a delivery fee. And when someone purchases your book, the author is charged that delivery fee. And then when someone returns it, the author's not refunded for that delivery fee. So we actually lose money when books are returned. It's not fair. And Amazon knows that, and they don't GAF. Yes. Yep. Yes, it's very possible. For sure. It's super possible to get a literary agent. I have several friends who started indie who now have a literary agent, and they publish for places like Montlake. So yeah, it's possible. Totally possible. Be consistent. Something that I struggle with because I hate that app. I would just say be consistent and don't steal people's content. Like, if Brooke's probably watching this like, oh God. Don't steal people's content. Like, if you see something that's creative, make it your own. Like, or give credit to the original person. And try different things. Like, if book flips don't work for you, try talking to the camera and being like, hi, I'm Gabriel and I write this. And, I started writing at this point and this is my book. You could be like, hi, my name's Courtney and I'm half of Kennedy Fox. And guess what? This book right here is called Tempting the Cowboy, and it's a USA Today best-selling book, and it's about a twin brother who falls in love with his best friend's little sister. And they're keeping it a secret all freaking summer long. Don't you want to read this book now? Stuff like that. Just have the energy if you're going to show your face. And just, follow people and book talk, see what they're doing. If you see trends showing up on your FYP a lot, see how you find ways to make that work for your books or writing or things like that, and just really niche down. My account is broken, and I'm convinced it's broken. I've had it since August of 2019. Before anybody really was there on Book Talk, I lost a huge opportunity, and I'm really kicking myself in the face for that because I was there before anybody was talking about books. Yeah. Anyway, so The thing is like, you want to be consistent and you want to be niche down. Don't just go um post random things. Like, if it's going to be an author account, make it an author account. If it's going to be your personal account where you talk about your personal life, make it your personal account. I think it's good to have two different accounts like that. Because the algorithm knows what you're liking and they know what you're watching, and that's why they push out different types of videos to you. And so my account's broken because it was the kitchen sink account where I just liked a bunch of cat videos and everything else, and I'm following celebrity impersonators and just social media coaches and all this stuff. And so it doesn't, like, my account doesn't say Scream Book Talk, even though it's all bookish stuff on my account. So what you do and what you post and what you like and stuff, it all kind of like affects each other. Scrolling down. I've published the first book in a historical romance series. The next book is due November. This is my first change of genre from romance to historical. Any advice for series marketing and publishing? I don't know much about it. Wait, so your first book is historical. The next book that you're releasing is not historical. Did I get that right? If you've only published one book in historical, I think that you can, I would treat it, if it's a different genre. Wait, this is my first change of genre from romance to historical. So you were historical romance, and now you're just going straight into historical without the romantic elements. Okay, I've worked it out. I don't know much about historical. I would imagine that it would be the same process as finding your target, like, you need to find your target audience for your books, and that's where I would focus a lot of my efforts. I would probably do some Facebook ads, because I wouldn't even personally know where to start to find historical readers. I think there's crossover though between historical romance and probably historical readers. I'd want the data to be like, do women and men who read historical romance actually read historical as well? Can you market to the same audience, or is it a completely different audience? And I think once you figure that out, then you'll be able to tackle it in the proper way to reach them. Facebook ads, and I feel like those who read a lot of historical are in a different age range. Like, I don't think it's a bunch of like younger people. So I would focus on the social media platforms that have your target audience. So TikTok is a bunch of young people. If there's young people reading historical, be on TikTok. If your target audience is on Instagram, and that's where they mainly hang out, then be on Instagram. I would be where they are and make yourself present. I just said that. I was like, you know what? I don't think Brooke knows that I'm streaming right now. I didn't tell her. $500 to $750 or $800 per finished hour. Based on the length of a book, if a book is 50,000 words, it's about 5 to 6 per finished hours, times $500 to $850 for each one of those hours. So they can range anywhere from 3,000 to sky's the limit. Yeah, like, it depends on the length. Like, if you have a shorter book, it's not going to cost nearly as much, but it's expensive. Do you buy barcodes? No, we just buy ISBNs. We don't buy barcodes or those at all. On Ingram, they will give you a barcode when you put your template up, and that's the one that they mainly use, and Amazon gives you a barcode too. Yes, there are some author groups for TikTok on Facebook. I think it's called TikTok for Authors. And there's a lot of people in there, and they will talk about their wins and losses and like exciting things that they did. They'll share their accounts, their videos that worked for them, and just try everything in the beginning. Keep it niche down, but try everything. And when something sticks, just keep repeating it over and over. Yeah, exactly. Advice for marketing for traditional published authors. What can we do to connect with people and sell more books with 1 to 2 published books per year? Um, I think that you can connect with readers in the same way that indie authors do. You just won't be able to give away the same types of things that we give away. Like we'll do ebook giveaways, or we'll sell ebooks on our website, or we'll use our ability to have access to our ebooks and stuff like that, like to promote and to find new readers. I think that with TradPub, it's a little different because you can't just send EPUBs out to everybody. That would not be good. But you can still connect with people. You can still comment on Bookstagrammers posts. You can still be on TikTok. You can talk about your books in the same exact ways that indie authors do. I wouldn't suggest pushing a bunch of money into ads because they pay you in advance. And I mean, it's kind of like their job to push your book in ads, but I would be present where your readers are present and get to know them. Get to know what they like, get to know how they feel about your characters. You can always give away like bookmarks and postcards. You can start a Patreon and connect with them that way. And yeah, I think that just being present and active where your readers are is going to do you a lot of good. I wouldn't sink a lot of money in ads though. My braid looks beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate it. I slept with my hair wet and woke up and it was a wreck. How do you do Bookstagram tours on your own? You create Google Forms will be your best friend. Create a Google form and just reach out to people on a human level, not a spam level. Drive-by marketing does not work. It's annoying, but if you are following a bunch of readers who read the same types of books as you can be like, hi, I'm trying to get a tour together for my upcoming book. And I know that you enjoy reading X, Y, and Z, and it's very similar to what I write. Would you be willing to, or I would word it like, I would like to send readers some paperback copies because I'm trying to get a Bookstagram tour together. Would you like to be involved in that? Because I really love your account. There's different ways of wording it. Don't just follow somebody and then message them, because that's rude AF. Like, be an actual follower and interact, and then plan it. And people will say no. Don't get your feelings hurt. Just move on to the next person. Thank them for their time, and tell them that you appreciate them getting back with you. But like, it's not directly against, it's not like, what am I trying to say here? When someone says no, it's not personal. So that's what I'm trying to get across. Like, don't be upset if a bunch of people say no, because for every like 5 or 10 no's you get, you may get a yes. And you don't need a whole lot of people for a Bookstagram tour, like 15, 20. And you can also get your author friends involved as well. Could be like, hey, I know back in the day we used to do where we'd all ship a book to an author. That author would take photos for us and send them out. And then we would do a tour like that where one person would be chosen to win all those books. I will say, I don't think they're beneficial. I don't think they sell books. I think that they take a lot of time and a lot of work, and they don't really move the needle. But if you wanted to be like, if you wanted to have a push on Bookstagram because you felt like it would move the needle, then I would say to try it and test it. But personally, I haven't found it to be helpful over the years. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We do still have an agent. She's still around. Be on all of them. Yes. Yes. That's right. Make sure to save your accounts too. Like when I first got started, I was at Lyra Parish everywhere. And so I could be like, follow me at Lyra Parish everywhere. And then when we started Kennedy Fox, it was like, follow, say Kennedy Fox books everywhere until, you know, Facebook. But yeah, I would definitely save all those accounts. And you'll find which ones you mesh with. Like there will be one that you're like, yeah, I'm going to vibe with this social media platform. It's my place to be. Right now I'm lost. I don't have a platform that I like because it's a cluster everywhere. When I finish my book and send it to an editor, how can I ensure my writing is protected so that whoever I send it to won't steal my work while it's being edited for publishing? I don't think this is a major issue. I know that a lot of people ask me this question and I'm like, it's typically a non-issue. I've not heard of this situation happening to any person that I know or in any groups that I'm in that have like thousands upon thousands of people. Now, if you wanted to protect yourself, you could, I think you can pre-copy. Can you pre-copyright it? I believe you can before it's actually published, but I don't think it's an issue. You could also have them sign a contract. You could be like, I am sending you my book. Here's my contract. You need to sign it, basically stating that they will not take your ideas. They will not steal your words. If they do, you will pursue legal action, whatever, and make the editor sign it and then hold them to it. But the best thing you could do is find an editor who is legitimate, who is not shady, who has worked with other authors before. I wouldn't go to someone that is new, that just popped up yesterday. I wouldn't go to a person who doesn't have some sort of like reputation already editing. But yeah, this scenario doesn't really happen. I don't think it's a worry. Yeah, I think it does work for non-romance genres. I've seen a lot of fantasy books. A lot. I feel like fantasy books on TikTok are like double what it is for romance books. I know that Book Talk was created for romance books or by romance readers or whatever, but I think it works for all genres. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Twitter. I always forget about Twitter. It's like one of those places that I'm like, Twitter's a dumpster fire. It has been since 2013. I go there to get traditionally publishing drama. What's the process of getting an ISBN and getting it registered? Is it necessary to get it registered? So you create an account on Broker, Browker. Is that right? Hold on. Broker. Is it Broker? Bowker. Bowker. Just type that in. And myidentifiers.com will pop up and you just create your account, buy your ISBNs, boom, boom, boom. When you need to assign an ISBN to a book, you'll fill out all the information for that and then you'll just press save and then that ISBN has that information saved to it. So it's very, very simple. It's very simple. It's expensive though. I think, oh, my back needs a pop. I think, what is it, Brooke? Like 100 ISBNs is like $1,000 or something, 500. As a newbie, you could probably start with 10. I think we just bought 1,000 ISBNs last year or the year before. It all blurs together, because for every sorry, I just read a text message and it threw me off. For every what was I talking about? I just lost it. Oh, okay. For every book that we release, each version of that has an ISBN. So for example, paperback, ebook, hardcover, special edition paperback, special edition hardcover. If we bring our audiobook wide, we'll need one for that. If we do anything on the internet where we are making a version of a book, we need an ISBN. So foreign editions, they also get ISBNs. So at this point, we need like, what, 6 ISBNs, 8 ISBNs for every book that we release. And the more, editions that we create, languages, whatever, we're going to need more ISBNs. But at first, you might only need an ebook and a paperback and a hardcover, so 3 per release. But yeah, I think that they're necessary. So many damaged books. I just filled out a KDP survey for Paperback and talked up Ingram about how they package. Yes. Oh my gosh. Webtoons are really popular. Can you do a masterclass course for indie writers? Oh, thank you so much. I don't have any desire to make a class. It's a lot of work. And if anything changes in the industry, I'd be like, oh, video number 2 and video number 7 and video number 10 has to be re-recorded. It's just easier for me to, come on YouTube and talk about things than to sit down, record all this stuff, because I would want it to be very, very high quality if I was taking money from people. But yeah, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. Is there a way in your KDP account to add a co-writer so the royalties are automatically sent to both accounts? Not in KDP. You can do it on Draft to Digital now. They've got it where they will pay out for you. You could go through Draft to Digital with Amazon if y'all did not want to mess with the accounting of doing the Amazon. But Amazon does not have that yet. Yes, this too. Our agent has got us on a lot of ebook apps that I've not even heard of before. And she's also got us in libraries, which is a big deal for us because we want to, be everywhere. We want to reach readers however. And if someone can't afford to buy our books, we want to be in places where they can still read them without paying for them. And there's all that drama with, oh, you should be in KU, so you're inclusive of readers who can't afford to pay for books. And the thing is with the library networks, you cannot be in Kindle Unlimited. So for us, it's like, if we want to reach people and we want to be able to give our books away for free where people can get them in libraries, you can't be in KU. Like we literally had to sign a contract that said that we can't be exclusive anywhere for our books that are in the library networks. So our agent did help us with that, and it's been nice because people have said that they've been able to download our stuff, which is nice. Okay, Hell Mountain comments. Am I really that behind? Oh my God. You would outline a novella in the same way that you would outline a full-length novel, but not as detailed. There's a great book called Romancing the Beats, and she goes through the different beats, and at the end she shows you the novella that she wrote using the beats that she shows in the book. So I believe it's exactly, we've always plotted it exactly the same too. It's just shorter. Like instead of having 24 to 26 chapters, it's got 12, so some of the beats in the book are combined in one chapter. So like, the climax happens and it just happens very quickly. So it's all kind of like condensed down. Envato Elements is amazing. A lot of people are like, it's a secret. And I'm like, I've had an account at Envato for like 40 years. Forever. I think it's $198 per year, and you can use everything on there for commercial use. Fonts, stock videos, photos, sound effects. They've got Photoshop actions. They've got everything you could possibly think of there. Yeah, some people are gross online and they don't care. Like their goal is to just, do whatever they can to get ahead, and they don't have ethics. They're just gross people, and they're all in self-publishing. I mean, not all. I mean, they are in our industry, you know, they're in all the industries actually. But yeah, there's some gross people out there. Yes, it still works. We have had Taming Him for free for like 2 years at this point. 2 years. Hold on, wait 1 second. I'm going to read this text message Brooke sent me. I'm trying to wait. Hold on. Sorry, I'm reading this text. Okay. I got it. I'll fix it. I do not. I am not the greatest at running ads. I can do enough. I can do them. I know enough to get us all in trouble to make some money. I haven't ran ads in a long time. I did them for my friend to like stay proficient in them, but I haven't done them in forever. Brooke would be the person to be like, okay, this is what you do, because she's really amazing at Facebook ads. I haven't set up an ad in forever. It's something to test for your audience for sure. We alternate between series. We used to do it pretty hardcore, but then we realized that it's better to release several books in a series together and then maybe take a break and move to something else. But I personally like alternating because I feel like if we just stayed in the same series and didn't move on before it was done, I would burn out because I need a change of scenery. I love writing about Texas and small town romances, but if we had to write those 9 books in a row, I would have been like, I am done. I cannot write another Southern romance for years. And so it helps us not burn out. Also, when we have alternating series, it's different subgenres. So we are capturing 2 different audiences. So there's an audience, of course, there's an audience that's blended that like both. They don't even care. But there's an audience who's like, oh my God, I love small town romance. I freaking love these Southern men that you guys have created. Like I'm all in on them. But they don't really care about like the interconnected standalones. That are longer, have suspense elements, aren't small town, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, you get to make these people happy and then these people happy and then the whole group happy. And so you always are reaching different types of readers when you alternate them. But test it. There are some authors who are like, I will not start another series until I finish one. We've done that before and it worked out okay, but you burn out. I mean, we burn out. Yes. Envato Elements, deposit photos. AppSumo will have a deal for deposit photos where you can get 100 for like $35. They do it every year. They do it on Black Friday. So keep your eyes open for that deal. Also, those credits never expire. So, I mean, we bought like 400 photos for like $110 or something. It's silly cheap, and we still have like hundreds of those left. So yeah, Envato Elements is great. They have tons of stuff on there too. I would say Romancing the Beat. It's an amazing book for romance. Do I have it over here on my desk? No. I've got a legal handbook for self-published authors, but y'all don't need that. Oh, here it is. Hold on. I'll show you what it looks like. Ooh. This book, Romancing the Beats by Gwen Hayes. It's romance focused, so I think that it'll really help you if you want to write paranormal romance. I think she is a paranormal romance author as well. I could be wrong about that, but it's basically like Save the Cat, but it's for romance writing. And it's a very, very good book. Sometimes when like I'm like when we're plotting and stuff, after we've got it like written out, I'll like go through and I'll like try to be like, okay, this right here is our phase 2. Yeah, we've hit that beat. We've got our meet cute moment. We've got the adhesion. We've got the inkling. Retreating from love. And like I go through and mentally check to make sure we've hit all the marks. But we do it naturally. So I'm usually like, oh yeah, man, we're good. We're good at this. But yeah, I totally would recommend that book. Brooke listed these Envato Elements, iStock, Adobe. Adobe and iStock are kind of expensive, I feel like, but they do have different things. I have been doing it like the day that we published the book, but I would do it as soon as possible when it's out there, because you have a protection built into your copyright where if someone plagiarizes you within like 2 years or something, because it's copywritten, there's like, I'm not giving legal advice. I went to a conference and this is what a lawyer told me, was in the first 2 years, if you have to sue someone for plagiarism, you're protected from legal fees if they are found guilty or something like that. So it helps you legally if you have it as soon as you publish. But yeah, it's pretty easy to do. Yes. I haven't heard of that one. Writing Love. I'll have to check it out. I don't have enough hair yet. And I see all these people with these cute bobs and I'm like, ugh, God. No, I mean, yes, you can do that because then you've got a date of when it was published, but I would not publish something before it went to edits like that. I wouldn't be able to, my brain wouldn't let me be able to function. Yes, that's right. Oh wow, I'm super behind. Okay, hold on. Yes. Hey, our pre-order sales of paperbacks through Ingram counted as day 1 sales on Amazon. I don't know about that. I don't know the answer to that question. It's not going to be a sell on Amazon. It's going to be a sell on Ingram because Ingram has their own dashboard, although they are distributing to Amazon. So I believe that it would function in this. I would imagine that it would function in the same way that everything else on Amazon does. Like when there's a sell for a pre-order, I would imagine it affects your rank right then because that's how it does for ebooks. I don't think that they would change their process just because it was a book through Ingram. But I could be wrong. That's just my assumption. Yes. Okay. Yeah. 1,000 for $1,500. Brooke's like, I think we need these. And I was like, ugh. We do. I know we do. Just buy them because we can get them now. It'll hurt, but then we'll be over it for like 10 years, hopefully. Yeah. Oh my God. Maybe when I'm like 80, maybe when we're grandmas, Brooke, when we're grandmas, we will make a master class and we'll be like, hi, everybody. We're the grandmas of self-publishing. We started back in the day, all the way in the early 2000s. And we're going to teach you how to write some dirty A romance. Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much. They will. They'll take 10%. But if you are concerned about dealing with accounting and hiring an accountant, that can help you with 1099s if you do not have an LLC and you're co-writing with someone, I would just put it all through D2D. Because that 10% is probably, well, that's not true. I was going to say that 10% will probably be cheaper, but that's not true. You could have a book go gangbusters and then pay 10%, and 10% of, $100,000 is 10 grand. So yeah, that kind of adds up. I say spend as much as you can afford. You know what I mean? Like, I can't say $500 is like what you should spend. It's dependent on what you can afford. I wouldn't go get in debt for a book release. A book release. I think that you can spend as little or as much as you want. There will be a point where you will not reap any rewards on your efforts. Like a bunch of book tours, for example. If you went and booked a bunch of book tours, would that really move the needle? Maybe. I feel like running ads and being on Book Talk is probably going to be way more beneficial than going and getting a bunch of book tours and stuff set up. But I've seen people spend as little as $200 on release, and I've seen people spend as much as $5,000 a day on ads on releases. So it's really kind of individual based on what you're trying to accomplish. Yeah, it's a great book. Yes, I forgot to mention that. So when it comes to series writing, what we like to do is we like to alternate series where we've got like a long runner going, where we know people are going to come back and finish that series while we're ending another series. So, you've got the Circle B Ranch series that's been going on for 3 years. And so during that 3 years, we've had readers stay throughout, while we've also started Lawton Ridge Duet series and finished it, started Love and Isolation series, and we are about to finish it. Our schedule will be a little off next year because this year we're finishing 2 series and we've never really done that before. But it's good to have one that's like ongoing while you're starting and finishing another one. So then, you've got people captured. Every 2 weeks, or publishing a novel every 3 months. Publishing a novella every 2 weeks if you are writing to market and trend chasing. Publishing a novel every 3 months if you're not trying to make a lot of quick money right now and you're in it for the long haul. That's my answer. Would you say there's space for sweeter versions of tropes? Yes. Clean romance is pretty hot right now. So I would say absolutely. Not everyone wants to read spicy, gory, whatever. Clean romance is like a really, really hot genre. Like mainly, like Hallmark, sweet and fluffy, or adventure driven. So like with paranormal romance that's clean, it could still have the romance elements. There could still be like this struggle between the couple, but it could also be adventure based where you're mainly like focused on the task at hand, and then they end it with a kiss. No kiss. What are your suggestions for a first-time novelist writing the inciting incident or the first chapter? I am writing a sci-fi romance novel and not sure what the inciting incident is supposed to happen, when the inciting incident is supposed to happen. This is one of those things I usually don't give writing advice because I feel like there's so many other people on YouTube that could probably explain this a million times better than me. But when it comes to your first chapter, I would say to start it with a bang. One of the things that I notice newbies do a lot is they feel as if they need to set the entire scene, build the entire world, give all the backstory. And like the first chapter, and I'm like, nobody cares about this. Weave it throughout. Nobody gives a F about whatever. I need to be dropped right in. I need to be dropped right into an argument. I need to be dropped right into some drama. I need to be dropped right into like something that has me wanting to find out what's actually going on. Inciting Incident. So hard. Hold on one second. Let's read what it is. The inciting incident of a story is the event that sets the main character or characters on the journey that will occupy them throughout the narrative. Typically, this incident will upset the balance within the main character's world. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about setting up the inciting incident. I think that I just do it naturally. I'm going to go and read. Hold on. I just wrote the first chapter of the last book we published. Hold on. The inciting incident. Trying to find it. Oh my God, this chapter's long. Okay, I can't do that. I can't do it. Sorry. I'm going to think on this. I'm going to think on this very, very hard. And I'm going to come with real tips on the inciting incident, even though I'll probably explain it completely terribly and just be all up in my, I'll confuse everybody. But I am serious about the dropping people into scenes at the very beginning of the book. I get so bored with reading books where it's just an info dump. And I even went back and read my first chapter of the first book that I ever wrote, and it's exactly like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I literally info dumped in the entire first chapter, and this entire thing needs to be cut. What was I thinking? I thought it was a good idea. It's boring. Are going to book signings like Book Bonanza and Indies Invade Phillies worth it? I think that it's worth it. They're huge. It's a lot of people. So if you're not like into people or waiting in lines all day, you might try a more intimate type signing that's got less people, less authors. But people tend to really love those. I haven't been to Book Bonanza. I know that it just finished. It just ended. There's also that other one that Jennifer Armentrout does. That's not in Indies Invade Phillies, is it? I can't remember. But I think that it would be a fun experience. The benefits are to meet them and bonus if you can make some sales. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's exhausting. Signings are expensive and exhausting. So there you go. Look up Abby. Would you recommend a critique group for someone just starting out and working on a first draft? I think that when it comes to critique groups, you can get a lot of information from a lot of different people, and their opinions can be conflicting, so it can be extremely overwhelming. I would probably find some critique partners, not necessarily a group of people, because like I said, it could get extremely overwhelming with all the different things because everybody has an opinion and everybody thinks they're experts. Talked about this. Yeah. It's, yeah. My first book, the girl was like leaving her childhood home, and it's all about her selling this house because her parents passed away and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, boring. Like, girl, get on the road and go. Like, we don't need all that. Don't know what I was thinking. Polycon, yes. Okay, that's what it is. But people don't have the time nor patience to read a lot for the story to get going. Yeah, I have been trying to read more dark romance because we're going to write a dark romance. And I've written dark romance, but it's been years, and so I wanted to see what the genre is currently doing. And God, it's changed so much since like 2014, 2015. And I have downloaded at least 20 dark romance books in KU, and I can't get past the first chapter. And I'm like, is this a KU problem? Or is it a me problem? Or what? Why are all these books starting like this? I already want all these characters to die because they are boring me. Like, it's dark romance. Throw me into some crap right now. I need some action straight off. I need the stakes to be high right from the beginning. So frustrating. Maybe I'm broken. I think that you could benefit, but I wouldn't invest a lot of money in ads for the first book. You have nothing for them to go to afterward. That's the point, is you want the read through. You know, if you're paying 70 cents for a click and you're selling your book for $2.99, like, you're not really making anything on that book, really. You know, you're making like $1. I would say it would be better to be on social media platforms until you build your backlist. And then once your backlist is built, to go ahead and then start doing ads. I don't think it's super beneficial when you only have one book. Yeah, the inciting incident. For us, we start with the prologue, and then usually the inciting incident happens in usually our first. We do dual point of view, so it's usually like in the first and second chapter. I think it depends on if you are established in one or the other already. I think that if you're switching between fantasy and contemporary and you're a new author, you're going to confuse everybody. I think that if you stick with fantasy and then you switch to contemporary after you're established and have a reader base, it'll be better off for you, or vice versa. At the beginning, if you just throw a bunch of subgenres in there and they're not even like remotely the same, then you'll confuse people, and you won't have a core readership that will follow you everywhere. Because, I mean, you could. I'm not saying you won't ever. I think it's going to be harder to build your core readership because you're dealing with two different audiences. So you build your core readership in one, say like contemporary, and then after, like, you've got a backlist, 15 books, then start dipping into fantasy, and you will have some crossover there. But usually I've found that if someone likes to read fantasy or PNR, they don't always read contemporary, or vice versa, but some of them do. There is an author who is very good at this, and she started in contemporary, and now she is writing PNR. Emily, oh, what is her last name? I just totally blanked out. And she's done really well with her vampire books. So it is possible. In the beginning, though, I would focus on one. Emily Goodwin. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't found one that I've liked. Everybody recommended this one book to me, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I downloaded it in audio, and I was literally pissed at the end of it. And not in a good way pissed, like I'm not going to continue the series. Just because the same things were repeated so much that it's not like, I'm not shocked. I don't care. Like, we know that he likes to do that. Okay. You've told us like 48 times at this point. And if you mention it one more time, I swear to you, I'm going to throw my phone out the window so I don't have to hear this book anymore. But it was highly recommended. Somebody recommend a good dark romance book. I haven't found one. Sophie Lark. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say Pam. And this GT Gessinger. Sorry, that's the insurance company calling me. And Tilly Cole. I've had those recommended. I haven't started those yet. How do you decide pricing of books? Would you sell the book at the same price on multiple sites? How do we decide? Well, we want to get paid over 70%. We want to get paid 70%. So it's got to be priced over $2.99, period. We stepped up with our pricing. We started at $3.99 and then we moved up to $4.99. And now we've stepped up some of our books to $5.99. And it's because we know that we can sell them at that price and they're at a high quality. It's a high quality product, right? And they're full length books. So I would check your genre and see what the average is for the genre that you're writing in. In romance, I typically see $3.99 to $7.99 I've seen for indies. And so we try to be competitive, but also be profitable. Yes, set it at the same price on multiple sites because Amazon will price match like a mother. For sure, they will do it. We've had issues with them just price matching. And we're like, what are you price matching? Like, this is not marked down anywhere, but they're very quick with it. So yeah, I would sell them at the same price on all the sites. So then, you know, when you have like a BookBub sale, you can say my pricing is $4.99 and I'm marking it down to free or 99 cents or whatever. But we usually, you know, see how people are selling in our genre and we price it accordingly. We don't want to underprice because readers on the wide sites, they're like, why are these books so cheap? Is there something wrong with them? You know, but on Amazon, it's like, oh, this book is cheap. I'm just going to hoard them all. So yeah, price it where they know that they're getting something that's of value, and make money. Like, this whole 99-cent renew release thing is still going on. Like, don't do that. Don't sell your book for 99 cents. Make that 70% royalty rate. Tilly Cole. Yeah, I want dark. Harley LaRoe. I need to write these down. Some of these I've been told. I just haven't gotten books. We're about to go on a huge road trip though, so it would be nice to download some books and read them. I've actually found that some of the thriller books that I've read have just been way better than any of the dark romance that I've found in KU. I feel like not all, but some of these KU authors are padding their books with wordiness so they can get more page reads, and I can't do that. I don't need every little detail described to me. It's annoying. Like, I get it, make your bank, but geez. Pepper Winters and Lily St. Germain, yeah. They're OG dark romance authors, though. These newbies today, they ain't cutting it for me. Yes, when I say $4.99 for a book, I am talking about ebooks. We sell our print for $15 to $20 depending on what it is. $25 depending on what it is. We have some collections. Of course, they're going to be more expensive. Hardcovers are what, $22.99 to $50 depending on what it is because of the collections. But yeah, our ebooks are priced at $4.99 unless we're doing a sale. And we have marked some of them up to $5.99. Morally Gray. Okay, I'm writing this down right now. Mercy by... Okay, I need to get like 4 dark romance books read this year. If you're testing what pricing works for your books, how long would you let the pricing last? If you're going up, I would probably keep it like that for months, because readers might pay attention to it. Like, for example, if you had a book and you were selling it for $3.99 and you were like, oh, I'm going to mark this book up to $4.99, and you do it for like 2 weeks and you sell a bunch of books, and you're like, oh, just kidding, going back down to $3.99. Those people that paid $5 in those 2 weeks might be a little ticked off about that. So I think when you change your pricing, I would commit for like 90 days. We didn't see a difference. We sold more books when we raised the price. Makes 0 sense to me. But yeah, we haven't seen a difference when we raise prices. Not super dark. Will you be willing to do... Yes, I'm going to when I get back from my vacation. I have one that I want to do that's not young adult, so... I just uploaded a writing vlog, but I'm not sure if I want my audience to have a personal connection to me. Do you think letting readers see the real you is harmful? I don't think it's harmful. And because I have been my real self online, like, since the beginning, people know that, like, everybody knows my struggles online. Like, I talk about it because I don't know how to be quiet. But I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I wouldn't have a personal connection where I had my readers' phone numbers and was texting them and hanging out with them like that. I think there needs to be some sort of boundary. But as far as like sharing my personal life or my opinions or my struggles or anything of that nature, I think people can relate to that. And I don't have an issue with it. But yeah. 48, 49. I think Seducing the Cowboy will be number 50. When it rains. Okay, I'll write that one down too. When it rains. I get so bored with Mafia though. I'm just like, really? Do we all have to do Mafia? Like, do we really? Oh, it's a dark romance and the Mafia is here. Oh, I'm so shocked. Oh my God. Like, the freaking Mafia is coming. Here he comes. Here comes the leader. Here comes his son that I had an affair with. Here comes his daughter. Like, I get so bored with Mafia. Shock me. Give me something that's like different. Awesome. Katrina, did you see a difference? Oh my God, my conspiracy theory video. I have so many. I swear, y'all, I swear Kindle Unlimited will not be around in 5 years. I just don't believe it's going to. I think Vella is going to just take it over. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Doing promotional like sales and BookBubs and all of that will help you out. The pricing thing is a psychological thing on the wide retailers. They expect higher priced books because they're used to paying that with trad books. Kindle is the only one that is price cautious. Abso-freaking-lutely. And you know what? Like with indies, we're so like concerned about Amazon, right? Like that was like the thing. Like everybody's like, Amazon, it's the end all be all. And yes, they are great. And I would recommend that you put your books on that platform. But people on Amazon are shopping for a deal. That's what they're looking for. They want to get something that's cheaper, or they want to not pay a lot of money. That's, Kindle Unlimited has created this environment where it's like, oh, let's just binge all this and move on to the next thing. And what was even the author's book that I just read? Who cares? We're on to the next one. And it's also created some bad habits with authors. I'll go into that later. But I think I already did, actually. But the thing is like on Apple, Kobo, Barnes and Noble, Google Play, they'll spend $25 for an entire series in an ebook form. $25. They don't care. They're like, oh, I get all these books at once. I'm just going to buy this. Like, they don't look at pricing in the same way. And that was something that was kind of hard to break out of, because Amazon teaches even authors that you need to have like a discount or you need to price low. But that's not the reality. That's just the Amazon mindset. And once you break out of that, I think that you can make a lot more money, that you can price your books accordingly without feeling like, oh my God, nobody's going to buy this. It's so expensive. It's not. $4.99 on Apple is low. That's a freaking deal. They're paying $11.99 for trad books right now. I think I saw one yesterday that was $13.99 for an ebook. And I'm like, see, Amazon just gets in our little brains and makes us think that, oh my God, nobody's going to pay $3.99 for my book. What? They will. They will do it. Don't be knocking on my mafia. Like, it's so shocking. Oh my God, the mafia is here. Oh, and there's a drug lord over there. Oh my God. Like, I'm sorry. These mafia authors are probably going to come at me. It's okay. Make it interesting for me, please. Since they're good. Oh wait, I missed a comment. Sorry. Most of my favorite authors are self-published and they aren't on KU, and immediately buy their books for $5.99. Oh, that's awesome, Paris. Thank you. From all indie authors, I'm saying thank you. Yeah, I think the difference is like with indies, we're not like, we can think outside of the box. Like, we don't have to stick with industry norms. We can, write about whatever we want. There's no one stopping us other than our readers. If they don't like something, they'll tell us. They'll definitely tell us. But, with trad, they're very careful and they don't take a lot of risks. So that's probably why. Oh, awesome, Katrina. I hope it does well for you. I shared a little bit about Vella. I think it's a good way for people to learn how to write in episodic form, because it's different than writing a book. Every episode should be like a little mini cliffhanger. And no, I have no desire to be on Vella. I would get on Radish before I went to Vella. And on a free first in series, would you do one for a trilogy? Yeah, I mean, if you have a free book, then they have 2 other books that they can read through. Yes, please. Like, oh, he has a brother who's gonna come and take him down now. Oh my God. Like, come on, guys. Yes. If we're still sharing dark, offer my own for you road tripping. No time for caution. Okay, KT, I'm a very picky reader. I'll write it down. No time for caution. I'm going to load my stuff. I'm going to load my phone, find my Kindle, and I'm going to load them up before I leave. Bella isn't available outside of the US. Not yet. I think they're going to launch it in other places, though. For sure. They're totally going to. Australia and all the big countries will eventually have it. Just like Kindle Worlds. Remember those? Remember those things of the past? They were just in US for a little while, and I think then they launched to UK and Australia, Italy, France, Europe. I have been introduced authors by author interviews on BookTube. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, they do turn them into books. Okay, so my thought is, if you are writing in the episodic nature, it's easier to turn that into a book than it is to turn a book into an episodic chapters, Radish, Vella type story. And the reason for that is because when you're writing for Vella, every chapter, even when you're not, every chapter should have a hook to keep the reader reading. But some authors will not build up to resolve something in the next chapter. And so if you're just reading a lull chapter, is what I like to call them, one of those ones that just moves the story along, but it's not super exciting, I don't think that that will perform well on Vella, because there's nothing that's like, oh, I have to know what happens. And you see that a lot in just regular like novel writing. But when you're writing episodic, like, it needs to be like cliff. It needs to be like a television show, essentially. Nicholas Sparks is not a romance author. He even says he's not. What would you do as a new wide author without a marketing budget? TikTok. I'd go all in on it. All in. 100%. I'm not even kidding. That's all I would do. If all I had was, my words, a good cover, edits, it's on the platforms, and I didn't have any money to market, I'd spend my time. I'd spend a lot of time, and I would probably be super annoying with it. But if you were and you did that, you would probably sell more books than if you pumped, $1,000 into ads. But that's just my opinion. Will there be more? I might do a writing sprint this week. I have to see. I have a lot of stuff to do and get ready for my trip. So I think that Radish has been around a lot longer than Kindle Vella, and I think Radish understands their authors better than Amazon does. They offer marketing opportunities in the back office where you can get into like a little promotion that they do that they send out to their readers, and they're very good at advertising. And so with Radish, I think that you have a higher probability of finding new readers than you do on Vella, because Vella's not really doing anything for their authors who are not already ranking. You could literally just have like a Radish story, like have some books up or whatever, and apply for these promotions like as much as you want, like every month or whenever they release them. And so until Amazon steps it up where authors can be pushed by them for free, like it's not a cost, and actually care if the authors are getting visibility, then I would still put it on Vella. If I was writing episodic, I would put it everywhere. I'd put the first like 4 chapters on Wattpad. I would put them on Radish. I would use chapters. I would do Dreamy. I would do all the apps, every single one of them. Absolutely. Because that just helps you broaden your range. But if I was focusing on one place where I was going to actually write the story and publish it first, it would probably be on Radish, because I feel like they're better. They've been around longer and they care about their authors more than Vella does. But just my opinion. Yeah. Would be considered. I absolutely love her work, but not sure if you want darker. I don't know who that is. Amelia Hutchins. I haven't read. I've read kind of like like Karen Marie Moning's Fever series, and it kind of had like darker elements, but I need to read like dark romance without fantasy is what I need. I need to see what everybody else is like writing right now. And what I've seen, I haven't been impressed with. So I do not write every day. They only demand exclusivity as far as like you can't put the book up while you have it in chapter episodes or episodic format, but you can put that same book on Radish, Dreamy, Chapters, Kiss. I mean, there's like 40 million of these apps. You can do that, but you can't like publish a book while it's on Vella. Yeah, I don't I don't know what the thing is, but I know for a fact they do allow you to be on Radish and Chapters and all of that. They made an announcement that was in the back office about it. Yeah, I might be stuck with mafia romances. I'm like, just we're mafia. I don't think so. No, I've seen authors who have their books on the Wattpad paid and Vella and Radish and all of that. It depends on if you're writing exclusively for Wattpad, because they do that too, where they'll have authors write exclusively for them. Yeah, I've read one of Sky's books, one of the novellas. It was pretty good. I like the setup of it. Okay, I'm gonna write this one down too. Okay, guys, do y'all have any more questions? Because if not, I'm gonna go ahead and end this live. And yeah, I think this is where we'll end it. When I get back from vacation, I will try to do Q&A Mondays, like record some, but then also just pop on Mondays and answer questions live, because I know sometimes people have like questions that are urgent. Like I write the spreadsheet and it's like, I publish next week and I'm like, oh no, this was like 3 months ago. So like this is already come and gone. And so then it will kind of give you guys an opportunity to ask the urgent questions that you can't wait for me to record 4 months from now. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's not like it was back in the day. It's gray. This is gray romance. This is not dark romance. But anyway, okay. Thanks guys so much. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. As always, I appreciate you for being here. Please make sure to like the stream, subscribe if you're not, and I might do another writing sprint sometime this week. I'm trying to get everything together because I'm going to leave soon. So y'all will not see me for a couple weeks here. But I'm going to come back in August with a vengeance. So I appreciate you guys. I hope that y'all have an amazing, incredible day. You accomplish all your goals and you write all the words. And guess what? I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye, guys. Have a good one.